You all know who I am. I'm B.A.L.A.N.C.E. We're a Black House organization, which is a health and wellness organization. We focus on a spirit, mind, body approach. So we have these different seminars through our B.A.L.A.N.C.E program, which we use as a way to educate everyone on the things that we're learning as we move. We give back to the community. So the B.A.L.A.N.C.E program is a program designed to do that. In front of you, you will find a ticket. We do plan to raffle a bottle of our doTERRA Lemon Essential Oil. So, and I'll explain why that's a very important oil to have in your home. So what you want to do is just take your ticket and on the line side, just write your name, and then we'll come and collect those at the end and pull the raffle. Also, you have in front of you an aroma tools guide, which I'll talk briefly about that toward the end. And I'll go over this, the paperwork in here toward the end as well. So, to get started, I wanted to ask you all, do you know what when you hear the word toxin, what comes to mind? If anyone wants to answer.
Dirty.
Dirty? Okay. Yeah. Death? Okay. Dirty and death, yes. Toxins are dirty and toxins are death. So those are good ways and good chemicals. Chemicals, yes, that's another good one. So yes, definitely. The T is my assistant. She's gonna do a lot of reading for us.
Toxin questionnaire. Do you eat real food, unprocessed or little processing?
So that's one of the things I want everyone to just think of these questions as we go along. Is your diet a diet based off of whole foods, or is your diet consistent of things that are processed, or which are pretty much the store-bought things that we find in the center aisle? Are you eating things more on the outside aisles of the grocery store when you go shopping? Do you shop at farmers markets? Where do you buy your food from? I want you to just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this.
Do you exercise 3 to 5 times a week, really getting your heart rate up and sweating?
So that's another question I just want you all to think about during the seminar. Do you exercise? Is it 3 to 5 times a week? Because that's a very, very important thing, and we'll talk about that as well. It's very important to get your heart rate up and to sweat, and we'll go over why that's important as well.
Are you able to fall asleep easily and stay asleep?
A lot of times people don't consider sleep. I'm guilty of that as well. So that is something that's very important when it comes to toxins in our body and detoxifications of our bodies. So we'll discuss that as well. So those are just things I want you to keep in mind while we're going through the slides.
What are toxins? Dr. Don Smith, a professor at UC Santa Cruz, whose research focuses on how organisms respond to toxins, defines toxins more in line with biology's traditional understanding. Toxins are harmful agents found in the environment. Common toxins. Common toxins are self-inflicted, lack of sleep, stress, poor exercise, and poor diet.
So a lot of times when we think of toxins, we think of those things that are like chemical, dirty, outside influences. But oftentimes what we don't look at is ourselves and those self-inflicted things that we do to our bodies and ways we bring in toxins. And definitely lack of sleep, stress, poor exercise, and poor diet has a lot to do with lowering the toxic levels in our bodies, and also ways that we can combat against environmental toxins that we come into contact with. Another toxin that a lot of people aren't familiar with is environmental toxins. And what I mean by environmental toxins is like, the exhaust fumes when we're outside, the different types of chemicals that we may come into contact with. A lot of times we don't think about the pesticides being in the air, because those toxins can be in the air as well. So a lot of times when I tell people about detoxifying their bodies. They're like, well, I'm good, I eat clean, or, I'm pretty much healthy, but there's also those environmental toxins that we come into contact with, and that's another good reason to do a detoxification of your body.
Home toxins, Wi-Fi, paint, cleaning supplies, plugins, and candles.
Yes, so home toxins, a lot of times when we're at home, we don't think or consider about those, consider the toxins that may just be in our environment at home, which is the radioactive activity like the Wi-Fi. A lot of our homes now are equipped with Wi-Fi. Also paint, any type of paint, mold, or areas in our house that may be contaminated, we need to take those into consideration. Cleaning supply, a lot of us have, including myself, I had a lot of cleaning supplies that were toxic, and just how we breathe in the molecules like from the diffuser or different things that were around. When we spray those toxins, like our traditional household cleaners, we're also breathing those toxins in. So household cleaners, I listed plugins and candles and incense and things like that. A lot of people aren't aware that those types of things are cancer causing. I don't have a lot of stats here, but I do encourage you all to do your research. I used to be Bath and Body Works plugins, Blade candles, incense from the flea market. I used to have all of those different chemicals, and I like the way things smell, so that was a way for me to like have my home smell good, make it welcoming to those that's coming in. But little did I know that those things could be cancer causing. So then once I did get into the oils and found out about the diffuser, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be breathing in things that I don't know what it is. I don't know the source of it, the origin. And then when I did my research and found out they can cause cancer, I definitely didn't want to do that. So that's another way we can inflict toxins on ourselves. Cosmetics, excuse me. A lot of people wear different cosmetics. And my friend Milka, she was the first person that opened my eyes to cosmetics. She said a lot of the lipsticks contain, I think it was fetus, aborted fetuses. So I was like, wow, let me look into cosmetics. So I began to research certain cosmetics. There are cosmetic companies that's out there that pride themselves on being clean when it comes to cosmetics. So even with the nail polish and different things that we use just on our bodies, we got to be very careful from the lotions to what we wash our bodies with, what we wash our hairs with. All of those things contain some type of toxins usually, unless it specifically says that it's clean. And so I wanted to, I'm going to talk about that, and we have a short video in regards to that as well. Another toxin, of course, is the food that we eat, the things that we drink. A lot of things contain GMOs, different food dyes, different things that are just toxic in general to our health. So we're going to discuss that as well. And of course, pesticides and chemicals, we're all familiar with those. And then, last but not least, prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs. A lot of the pharmaceuticals that we come into contact with, a lot of the over-the-counter medications that we come into contact with, we understand that those are definitely synthetics. And so something that is synthetic isn't, can be toxic to our body. So we'll talk about that as well.
When are you exposed to toxins? You are exposed to toxins on a day-by-day basis. Whether you spend a relaxing day in your home or spend a busy day in the city, toxins are still present. Yes, so at home, even out and about, we come into contact with toxins everywhere. Types of toxins. Common types of toxins include alcohol, smoking cigarettes, other drugs, heavy metals, car exhaust fumes, a vast array of other air pollutants, and some that are carried in the foods we consume. Emotional factors are also included in the exogenous toxin category. Yes, so sometimes we don't think about our emotions. We don't think that maybe being stressed can cause an affliction on our bodies. That can also help us to maintain toxicity in our bodies. So
So we're going to talk about that as well.
This is the story of cosmetics.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to the rest of our video, but I'll touch briefly on what she said. A lot of our cosmetics, as she said, has a lot of toxins in them. What I would suggest as an alternative to those toxins is just, if you can, create your own types of skin creams, hair moisturizers, different types of hair solutions. For one thing that I definitely like to use is like the black soaps to wash with, to bathe with, to wash hair with. Another thing that I do is the lotions. We use the safe lotions. And on there was a list of different chemicals, which everything that I'm talking about today, you don't really have to worry about writing down, because I'll post all of this on the website, and I'll also have it posted on our Facebook page, and with the list of things that you want to stay away from. So I'll have that on there for you as well. And another good thing that you can use to make your own skin moisturizers is the different shea butters. You can make your own products using that. You can also make your own toothpaste. That's a possibility, which I'll have the recipes for that on there as well. This is a toothpaste that I use, and it's by the company doTERRA, and it's a whitening toothpaste, and it's free of all those chemicals that we shouldn't have, harsh chemicals such as fluoride, to name a huge chemical that we definitely don't want to expose ourselves to or our children to. Another safe alternative when it comes to lotions, like this one here that I got from Whole Foods. I kind of look on the bottle, I see what's in there. I pretty much check it against my list. If you have to buy any types of lotions, you want to be careful of what you're getting, and you want to know what to look for. And most of the products will tell you that it's free of those ingredients. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. Also, when it comes to, this is just a line of things that I have in my home that I use. All of these things you can make yourself, but one of the things I use is the doTERRA On Guard hand soap. And I use this in my bathroom in lieu of using antibacterial soap, because our hands are supposed to have good bacteria on them. So if we're killing that good bacteria that's on there, which a lot of our products in today's market will have antibacteria. Dishwashing detergent, antibacteria. Everywhere you look is antibacteria something. But when it comes to our hand soap, we want to definitely make sure in our skin products that we're not using antibacterial skin products, because we're fighting off or killing those things that's meant to help our bodies. So that will begin to break things down. And another thing that I use is the laundry detergent and the surface cleaner, which this is a concentrate. It could be used for a variety of things, to clean your floors and different things like that. Another thing you can do also is create your own, like I have this lemon oil here, and also I have the recipes for that, but you could create your own cleaners. Just for example, using a small empty glass bottle like this, you can take this, mix it with a couple of tablespoons of vinegar and water and just your lemon oil, and then now you have a glass cleaner. You can mix this with like the On Guard, and then now you have a counter cleaner. So there's different ways that we can use, we could lower the toxification levels in our home when it comes to like cleaning. And when it comes to cosmetics, if you do have them, you want to definitely make sure you're using safe cosmetics. So.
Types of exposure, home and emotions. Your home, regardless of how clean, is another source of toxins. Thousands of deaths each and every year are associated with indoor pollutants such as household cleaning products, smoke, dust, paint, solvents, treatments for damp and wood. Toxic heavy metals are prevalent within our homes. Some of these are inside of the mouth, such as mercury fillings, and we cook our meals and heavy metals such as aluminum pans.
Yes. So I always encourage people to just reevaluate how you even cook your food. A lot of us use those non-stick pans. I used to be a big advocate, like, yeah, it's non-stick, that means my food's not gonna stick to it, and I'm not gonna have to wash the dish, you know. So I was like an advocate of that, and then I found out that that chemical that's used to make it a non-stick item was toxic. So that's something that you want to definitely pay attention to as well. There are some safe cooking pans out there. A safe one, I don't know if you all remember, but when I was growing up, my grandmother used cast iron skillets, cast iron pots. Those types of things are safe. So, and also just as a side note, it also helps our food that has iron in it to become more iron enriched just by using it. Or even if we cook with that and we use like a citrus, something in there like a tomato or something citrusy, it also brings out the iron in our food. So that's something that you want to definitely be aware of. Another thing is, excuse me, dust. I know a lot of people, get busy. I'm a very busy person, but dust alone carries a lot of different viral and bacterial things. So just to take, like I was saying before, even a little spray bottle like this, if you're using some On Guard or lemon, you could just spray and dust. So that's something that sometimes we get so busy we don't think about, but that too can be harmful to our health, just breathing that in, and even it coming into contact with our skin, because our skin is the largest organ. So we want to be careful what we put on it, even those things that we tend to not be thinking about at the time. Also, heavy metals. A lot of us go to the dentist, and the dentist tells us we need fillings, and those fillings that's in our mouths, when we get those silver fillings, contain mercury in them. So in our mouths, generally we come into a lot of toxics just through our mouths alone, just even by breathing in just by being outside and you're breathing in the exhaust fumes and different things like that. So one of the things that I like to make, and this is very simple, is the oil pulling, and that just pulls toxins out through your mouth. And if you use a couple of teaspoons, 20 minutes a day, you're bringing those toxins out of your mouth. And this is very simple. This is a 4-ounce container. It's half coconut oil and it's half sesame seed oil. And I also use a product that doTERRA makes as well. It's called Zendocrine. It's a detoxification blend of oils that I use in that as well. So that's something that you can just get into the habit of doing daily.
Types of exposure, home and emotions. Repetitive cycles of emotional tensions could have a direct effect on your hormonal and nervous system, and there are many other negative effects of stress on health and well-being. It can also easily lead to becoming internal toxins, and if this occurs, can indirectly affect your body's ability to detoxify. So, yes, stress, just being busy, being around, in an environment, because sometimes we don't realize that us ourselves we may not be like negative or feel like we're the cause of our stress, or we're the cause of our own stresses, but just by being stressed in those levels and those cortisol that's released in our body, that begins to affect our bodies. It makes us retain weight. It can make us lose sleep, which is toxic to our bodies. And it can, like Tia was saying, just in general, to what it can do to our health. You hear about people having strokes, having heart attacks, and different things like that just by stress levels. So we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in positive environments, surrounding ourselves with positive, like-minded people. Definitely being grounded when it comes to whatever our spiritual beliefs are. That helps as well. And just to take time to think, to set aside time to be unconnected to anyone else and just be at one with the Creator. So that's definitely something
when it comes to that emotional balance that everyone should have in their lives, whatever it is, even if it's just going out and being one with nature. And those things can help us to lower the stress levels in our bodies. So when you get stressed out, think to yourself, just me being stressed right now, I'm being toxic to my body just by enduring the stress and being stressed out. So that's something we definitely want to take a look at.
The review, which analyzes and interprets the latest science on BPA and human health risks, is a whopping 500 pages long. So on the assumption that most people are more likely to use it as a doorstop than read every last word, here are the highlights. The review takes a weight of evidence approach to making sense of a large number of published studies. It is a bit like reconstructing a scene from a bunch of smartphone photos. Some are crisp, some are blurry, some focus on minute details, while others are so distant they lack any detail at all. You even have some selfies in there. None of them paint a complete picture, and on their own some can be downright misleading, but stitched.
Okay, so a lot of times we hear about the water and we know, like, definitely we don't want to drink from our taps because our tap water is definitely contaminated. No one's tap is different from anyone else's tap. If it's not well tapped, then there's contaminants in there. Things from prescription medications to heavy metals, a various array of things that's found in our waters. But a lot of times people will resort to using a water bottle instead. So one of the things that's found in water bottles that's found in the lining of our canned foods is BPA. And a lot of people are aware of BPA and they know that it's toxic, but one of the things that I wanted to just mention here today, one way that you can tell if your bottle is a BPA-free plastic, or even your containers that you get from the store that you store your food in, you want to make sure those are BPA free as well. Because what happens when you heat those plastics, like say for instance, with me, sometimes I would carry bottled water and I would have it in my car, and then, you know, the car heats up, we're in Florida, then you take it home, put it in the fridge, and everything's good. But no, everything is not good, because what just happened was the chemical BPA was just released into my water just by it being heated. And what I did was took it home, made it cold, and now my family was thinking they're going to get a nice refreshing drink, not understanding that they're going to really be getting high levels of BPA just by drinking that water that I just put in the fridge. So one of the ways that you can tell that the plastic is BPA free is you can turn it upside down and you'll see a triangle on it, and the triangle will say PEP, PETE, or it'll say PE, or it'll just say BPA free sometimes on the container, or it'll say, go ahead.
It will either say PETE or PET.
Yes. So most of the plastics, even at the store, it will say that. You'll see a triangle and it'll say that. Or on the bottle, it will just read BPA free. So you want to definitely make sure that when you're using bottled waters or using plastic containers, that you're using BPA free containers. Another thing that contains BPA that a lot of people don't know about is receipts. When you get receipts from the grocery store, when you go to Walmart and you're handling those receipts, a lot of times, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the workers, they wear gloves for two reasons. One is because they're dealing with dirty cash that's coming in, so that's a contaminant. But a lot of them are aware that those receipts are made by a recycled paper that contains BPA. So just just dealing with receipts, you want to make sure that you're definitely washing your hands afterwards, because like I was saying before, our skin is the largest organ, and those toxins can absorb right into our bloodstream just that quick. So different things like that we don't consider. If you using the microwave, as we know, can be very hazardous because we're taking that radiation and we're putting it in our food and we're eating that radiation. If you are going to use a microwave and you do use plastic containers to heat your food, you want to make sure those are BPA free containers, because what you're doing is you're putting that chemical again in your food. So that's something that you definitely want to be aware of. A lot of times, if you notice at the stores, they're switching over to a lot of glass containers again. When we were growing up, we had glass containers. We had Tupperware, which I'm sure is probably BPA free back then, but now they've found a way to recycle plastic and make plastic cheaper for them and for us, but then they're using these chemicals to make it that way. They're using these chemicals to make it a recyclable plastic. So they say they're helping the universe, but they're harming us in the process. So that's something that I definitely want you to be aware of. So not just what you drink, but you know what you're drinking your drink from. So
Types of exposure. Internal. The intestinal tract is full of gut flora, which is comprised of bacteria and yeast. If we did not have gut flora, we would not be able to digest most of the foods we consume. But unfortunately, overgrowth of certain strains can be harmful as they absorb nutrients and produce waste that can be absorbed directly into our body's blood circulation. Long-term exposure to these toxins can result in a weakened immune system, a slower metabolic rate, and inflammation of the large intestine. This is particularly when food is undigested for a prolonged period of time, which leads to more harmful bacteria and yeast, generating higher levels of toxic compounds that are absorbed into the body's blood circulation.
So that is just simply by us, that's just by us simply having things in our gut. Our gut is definitely, our gut talks to us. And a lot of times people will experience an upset stomach, or they'll experience like maybe an overgrowth of acne and different things like that in your bodies. And that's usually due to a yeast overgrowth in our guts, and it's known as candida. I won't get too into it right now, but if you are interested on a way to cleanse your gut of the candida, which is a yeast overgrowth, I can definitely give you information on how to do that. And one of the things that I would suggest that everyone gets is a healthy probiotic, which I'll talk about that as well, because you want to, there's things that you can use to rid your body of the bad bacteria and then put the good bacteria that we need back in. So that's something that we definitely encourage.
Now that I know about toxins, how do I get rid of them? You can reduce your toxic load. One way is to get at least 6 to 9 hours of sleep each night.
Yes. So one way you can reduce your toxic load is simply by getting rest. Because as you know, when we rest our bodies, that's the time for our immune system to rebuild. That's the time for our bodies to relax, and so all of our internal organs can replenish and get. And that there, if you ever notice, one of the things that I always encourage people to do is, not to eat after at least an hour before you're going to go to sleep. Some would recommend even more time prior to that, but a lot of us, we don't go to sleep at the same time. So some people may say, don't eat anything after 6, or don't eat anything after 9. But what if you're late, you're a night owl? So then what for you? So at least an hour to an hour and a half prior to going to bed, you don't want to have food on your stomach, because you want to give yourself time to still burn some of that off. And you're moving around, which is going to increase the circulation, which is going to get things flowing. Another thing that's very important, a lot of us don't realize, when you get up in the morning, it's time to rid your body of toxins. If you do this, I'm not sure if you do this, but if you ever eat anything in the morning and then shortly after you have to release yourself, have a bowel movement, it's the same concept. Even if you drink something, then you should be having a bowel movement in the morning, and that's releasing yourself of the toxins from the day before. A lot of us, if you take 8 ounces of water, right? You add like the lemon oil to your water, or like a grapefruit oil to your water, or if you use fresh lemons, and you squeeze that in your water, and you drink that on an empty stomach, you'll know right away, you'll feel your body right away. And what it'll do is it'll start moving the things in your stomach and flushing them out. that's a good way to just simply detoxify yourselves first thing in the morning of what you had the day before. And you won't have that, I don't know if you've ever had that bloated feeling or just feel kind of full in the morning. That'll help that. And then as you're putting new food in your body, to just drink lemon water or grapefruit water, like during the day, it's just still, you're doing the same process of that elimination. So that's something you definitely want to get in the habit of doing, like even adding that to your water, just flushing your system out.
Another way is to eat as healthy as possible. Avoid fast food, non-organic, etc.
Yes. So a lot of our foods are not made like they used to be made millions of years ago. A lot of our foods contain genetically modified organisms in them, which you may have heard of as, is referred to GMOs. A lot of our vegetables, our fruits, have these genetically modified organisms in them. So one of the things that I always recommend is to definitely find yourself a farmer's market to shop from versus your conventional store. Walmart, I would definitely just steer free of Walmart. I mean, I bought apples that lasted in the fridge forever, and I was like, that's not right. I bought apples that I cut in half, and they did not turn brown, and that was just weird. That's not normal. Foods that say they are seedless, you definitely want to stay away from foods that claim to be seedless. Another thing that a lot of us, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's this fruit that I bought. It was called it was like a pear and an apple, something combined. Yeah, that's not natural. Yes, if you're splicing and dicing to create something that doesn't naturally grow, then that too is another form of a toxin, because we're putting those things in our bodies. And just like they modify the foods, then those foods get into our body in a modified way, then it begins to modify things in our bodies. And that's something that we definitely don't want to do. Soy is a product that is oftentimes genetically modified. Even more so, corn is a product that is genetically modified a lot. Different rice is now genetically modified. So when you're looking for these items in your stores, fruits and vegetables and things of that sort, we normally talk about not eating processed food and these kind of things like that. But for us that are healthy, we want to make sure we're having and eating healthy vegetables and fruits. Another and me myself, I'm vegan, but if you are a meat eater, you definitely want to eat farm-raised cattle or farm-raised chickens, and not farm-raised fish, because that's a lot of times I was doing a little research on fish, and I saw a tank, and it was a fish farm, and the fish were so close together they couldn't even move, and they were like flapping on top of each other. Some of them had like extra fins, and it was just so unnatural. So and they feed those fish just anything, and they were just in this dirty, nasty water. So if they're not wild caught, definitely beware of that too.
They also, in tilapia farms, they feed the fish cow and pig feces from farms.
Yes. So you definitely want to be careful. A show that I would recommend is Knife Over Forks, Forks Over Knife. That's you can find that on Netflix. I definitely recommend for everyone, if you haven't seen it, to definitely watch that.
Food
and it talks, yes, and Food Inc. Because those definitely talk more in depth about the foods that we're consuming.
Another way to reduce your toxic load is to get away from electromagnetic, Wi-Fi, and microwaves.
Yes. So definitely. Back in our days when I was growing up, first we weren't allowed to even be in the house for so many hours out of the day, because we're always kicked outside to go play. I don't know what go play meant. It just meant get out the house, don't come in, don't keep running in and out, and that's just how we grew up. But nowadays we do have children that are connected. We ourselves as adults are connected to Wi-Fi. And everywhere we look, there's Wi-Fi here, Wi-Fi there. those magnetic fields, that same energy that's used to power and source our Wi-Fi, those waves are coming through our bodies. So it's very important that if you have Wi-Fi, you definitely, when it's not in use, you definitely want to have that off. If you do have a Wi-Fi system, I just found out at another seminar that I was at this weekend that you definitely want to have that box close to a window if you can help it. Oftentimes I keep my windows open when I'm home, even if it's cold outside. I always recommend and I always tell people you want to take a few minutes, even if it's just for 10 minutes, if it's cold, just even crack the windows, even if you don't keep them all the way open. Even if what people used to say, don't heat up the neighborhood, or don't cool down the neighborhood, you're letting the air out, or you're letting the AC out, it's okay. If you have to do it, just do it because you just want to keep that flow in your home. Another thing that I like to tell people about, I found this out by a guy that does air conditioning, heating and cooling units. He said that air can't flow through the house. If, like, say for instance, even if we had the windows open, you want to have all your doors open as well. So the air is flowing, because it can't flow properly if the doors are closed. So that's something that you definitely want to make sure you're doing. And also, whenever you can just be outside, just go outside and just get that fresh air. Even if you're a person like me, I do a lot of my work from home. Just if you're inside, you want to just take yourself outside and just breathe for a little while then before you go back in. So those are things that I definitely like to let people know about. And if you have Wi-Fi like in your room, you may want to reconsider that. All of that in your room, even at night. A study that I read about cell phones, if you have your cell phone like charging at night, I used to have mine right on my nightstand, and I found out that those waves just coming, from my phone, like sitting there just being charged or just being on, was hazardous to your health. So that's something that you want to consider, definitely sleeping away from any type of laptops or your cell phones and different things like that.
Detoxification. You can detox through a change of diet, daily activities, exercise habits, etc.
Yes, so there's no like fancy bad thing that I'm gonna say. There's many ways that you can detoxify your bodies, but just reducing your toxic load just by simply being aware of toxins that you may not have been aware of, that right there is just a way to get started. So definitely by your change in diet, eating less processed foods, eating more whole foods, being careful of the whole foods that you're intaking, being careful of the water that you are drinking, just the things that you're consuming. You want to be careful of your daily activities, such as like if you're a person that chronically uses the microwave, or you're a person that maybe sleeps with your cell phone close to you, or just being amongst Wi-Fi all the time, or you're a person that endures a lot of stress. You want to do things that's helpful to de-stress, maybe having a diffuser and having different essential oils in there to just kind of cleanse your body and cleanse your mind. So that's something that you definitely want to do when it comes to daily activities. Exercising is very important. When we sweat, just by simply sweating, we're releasing toxins from our bodies. It's normal to sweat. A lot of people, they wear deodorant or antiperspirants, and one of the things that I do is very simple, it's super cheap. Everyone in the house can have a little batch of deodorant. I'll put the recipe online as well. But just simply doing things like this and having a clean diet, you don't have to use those harsh chemical deodorants, because a lot of the deodorants have aluminum in it, which is another cancer-causing ingredient. So just by doing simple habits like that, but you want your body to sweat, and even with this on, I'm sweating, so I'm releasing those toxins. My body's doing what it does naturally. The Creator did not make a mistake when He made our bodies the way that they are. It's just we have to know how to do with our temples and know how to take care of them. So that's something that I wanted to share.
Detox diet. Be careful while trying bad diets. If you have to take any diet pills, such as hydroxycut, the diet isn't safe.
Yeah, so there's a lot of detox diets that's out there that will say take this pill or take that pill, and it'll help you detoxify your body better. If it's not natural, I wouldn't take it. If it's not something that I can't take internally, I wouldn't take it. Or even if it's a synthetic, that's not safe, I wouldn't take it. So you want to be aware of those type of things. And and fad diets that say like do this one thing, take this magic pill, and you're gonna be able to detoxify your body, or drink this magic solution that has all these chemicals in it, and that's gonna flush out your body. So you definitely want to be aware of those type of detox diets.
Other natural ways to detox: lemon and parsley water.
Yeah, so lemon and parsley water is one of my all-time faves. I used to drink it every single day, and I basically have a glass bottle just like this, or I have at the grocery store, if you want something that's safe, that's cheap, I always tell people, go to the grocery store, get you a Voss bottle. They're like $2.99, they're glass. You can reuse that, and put your filtered water in there, your purified water, and you can fill it up with lemon, parsley. You want to make sure it's organic. Or you can do what I do now. I just simply use my lemon oil, and I put 1 drop. It's much easier. It's more cost effective for me to do it this way. 250 drops in this one bottle is going to carry me a long way. It's beyond organic because it's certified pure therapeutic grade. I put it in my water, shake it up, and that's another way that I'm constantly detoxifying my body daily. Another way is ginger and lemon tea. Another thing we have is, of course, the
GX Assist gets rid of the overgrowth of unhealthy yeast and bacteria in your gut, such as Candida. The Zendocrine soft gels contain the Zendocrine essential oil 1, and you can take those daily to help detox your body. Lemon essential oil contains lemon, and you can use that in your water daily. And the Lifelong Vitality Pack contains different vitamins that help you in your daily life.
Okay, so the Lifelong Vitality Pack, this is one of my faves, and I talk about it a lot. And the reason why I talk about this pack often is because it contains everything essential to our bodies and things that we need. It also contains those different essential oils such as frankincense and clove and different food nutrients as well. In the Alpha C RS Plus contains a lot of those cellular things that we need to help with brain function and nervous system and things like that. And I talk about that pack is because a lot of times, what I was saying earlier is like the synthetics. A lot of people take synthetic medications, but also what a lot of people don't realize is that when you get vitamins like from your Walmart or from your Walgreens and different places like that, you'll be surprised that even though GNC and a lot of the health food stores have these different products in there, and the products contain maybe 5% of the iron, and maybe the rest is just fillers and adulterants. So that is something that I definitely want you to do your research when you're buying your vitamins and your supplements. But this vitamin supplement pack has everything that you need in it. So I definitely always encourage that as a healthy alternative to buying a bunch of different things everywhere else. It contains the B vitamins, the D vitamins, which we lack in our bodies. It contains the magnesium, which we also, especially the food nutrients, is going to replace some of those things that we're missing. Even if we eat a plant-based diet and we eat a lot of the different vegetables, we're still going to miss just because our stuff isn't essentially grown the way it used to be like 50 years ago. So that's going to have our kale and spinach and different things like that in the vitamin pack. So that was all that I have for you today. I can go on and on and on and on when it comes to detoxification. There's so many other things that I wanted to cover and discuss, but I will ask you to please, I was going to say ma'am and sir, but please attached to your books in the front is one of our cards, Black Hawks organization. You can go there to our website. We have a lot of different things on our website pertaining to a lot of things that I'm talking about today. Also follow us on Facebook, because we will definitely be posting different ways to detoxify your body. As we learn different things to watch out for, we will definitely be posting those things as well. Anytime, feel free to reach out to us through our Facebook, or if you yourself find out of anything that is toxic, please let us know, because we'll definitely want to get that posted and out to the public. The seminar was basically just to inform you all of things that you may have known, just to reconfirm, and then things that you may have not have known. and just for us to share with one another. So that's one of our goals as a health and wellness organization, is to bring all of that together and bring it to the community and have the community bring it to us as well. So thank you very much for coming out, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
When you were talking about different ways to detox, or I don't remember.
Okay.
But what about the lemonade diet? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yes, the lemonade. I would
Cleanse,
say
well, it's
the
not
lemonade
diet,
cleanse.
cleanse.
Yes, with the cayenne pepper and yes, the maple syrup. I would recommend that you definitely, if you do that, because I've tried that cleanse. Yeah, I was. Yeah, thank you, Tia, for answering my question. Yeah, a lot of people do that for an extended period of time. But if you do it, they say it's not that healthy to do it. But if you are going to do it, I recommend that you definitely use organic ingredients when doing that cleanse, because a lot of times you are killing things that's in your body.
Let's go. Yo. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter.